Alright, hi everybody, Rosematter here. Welcome to episode 26 of Steins Gate Zero, and I believe this will be the finale to the entire game. I was told by people that I am very, very close to finishing, and I can actually even do the conclusion to the VEGA and ALTAIR route and the true ending because it's actually quite short. I can probably put them together into one episode. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to finish up the whole game today, which is very exciting because I've been playing this for a while and I'm excited to see like the finale to it. And it was such an action-packed, crazy reveals last episode, the whole thing about like who Kagari is in this route, you know, who she actually is. Mayuri wanted to go back in the past. Suzuha talking about how like she thinks that there is a time that she can go to be able to fix everything and get us to Steins Gate. The rocket apparently blowing up the time machine. Suzuha and Mayuri, it's unknown whether they made it to the past or not, and this is what has finally motivated Okabe to try as many times as he needs to save Mayuri and Kirisu and Suzuha and get to Steins Gate. So let's get into it, guys. Let's try and finish it up today. I'm very excited. Let's go. It took almost 2 full days to finish work on the phone wave. Meanwhile, the chaos in Akihabara continued, and it wasn't safe to go outside. Working on the time leap machine while knowing that the battles might reach us at any minute, or that a special forces team might burst in at any time, was a hard job that wore on our nerves. But still, we managed to finish the machine somehow. 2 days, too. That's crazy. I jumped. Oh, he jumped. Okay, not like jump for joy. Like, literally, he's jumping. It's happening. It's happening so much earlier than I thought it was going to. So, okay, so he went back to July 11th? I'm sorry, I should have paid more attention. The next thing I knew, I was standing in the middle of an Akihabara alleyway. I was holding a cell phone in my hand. I had a nasty headache, and there was a stinging pain in my neck. I felt a pain on one side of my head, like a migraine headache, and the left side of my face hurt really bad. My vision flashed with dark and bright spots. I took a look around. The alley was still peaceful. I heard no gunshots and no explosions. The otaku were enjoying their shopping, and girls in maid outfits were calling out to passers-by. That alone was enough to tell me, for sure, that the time leap was a success. Okay, 7. So he's back 7-7. I looked at the time on my smartphone. July 7th, 5:45 p.m. I had around 40 to 50 minutes before the war began. That still wasn't enough. But the 48-hour limit of the time leap machine meant this was as far as I could go. No point in getting negative. If the machine had been finished just a little later, it would have been too late. I should be glad to have made it here at all. I knew what I'd been doing at this time. I was running around Akihabara looking for Mayuri. Okay, so now he's going to be able to get to her before all that stuff happened. First, I needed to call Maho. She should have been looking for Mayuri too. Okay. Will Maho have any recollection of what's gone on? Probably not, right? Can we get to... Okay, it's going to do it automatically. I'm guessing, yeah, Okabe's the only one who has the memories of this, right?
いや、だが場所は分かった。急いでラボに戻ってきてくれ。
I hung up before she could answer and went back to the lab myself. Oh, this is so intense, like knowing that they're so short on time. She was already there by the time I arrived. Daru was acting a little awkward, probably because he just hit me. Oh yeah, right, that happened, huh?
ヤジョさん、よくやってくれた。はい?
I grabbed both of her hands and shook them. Both Maho and Daru seemed confused as to what was going on.
俺は48時間後の未来から
They're just gonna be like,
タイムリ
you're...
ープしてきたんだ。
Maho might be like, you're crazy, but Daru might actually believe it.
マジ?
Okay, so she believes it.
最低でもあと48時間以内に。
あ、
一体どうやって。
説明は後だ。いいか、時間がない。よく聞いてくれ。何人もの命がかかってる。
I'd gone over the mission many, many times while waiting for work on the phone wave to finish. I'd thought of everything to say.
ヒアジョさん、すぐにアマデウスにアクセスして、クリスと魔法を
Oh shit.
バックアップごと全部
Okay.
消去しろ。
So she's gonna get to it before they can.
レース記念はあれを平和利用するつもりなんてない。
何を、そんなめちゃくちゃな。
タイムリープしてきたって言っただろ。あと1時間もしないうちに秋葉原が戦場になるんだ。タイムマシンが狙われるんだよ。それが第3次世界大戦の始まりになる。阻止しないと鈴葉もマユリも死ぬ。
Maho and Daru went pale when they heard that.
マジ？え？マジ？だから俺の言う通りにしてほしい。
I wonder if this is it. Like, he won't be able, like, after this, is this the last chance they have? Like, if they screw up here, like, that's it? Or would they be able to try again? He said himself, like, he'll leap as many times as he has to.
データにはアクセスできるけど、外部からいじるには教授の持っている管理者権限が必要よ。
そこから先はダルの仕事だ。クラックしてデータを完全破壊しろ。オキドキ、任せろ。
I appreciate the fact Daru is not questioning anything. He's like, yes, I'm on it. Daru started typing at incredible speed. His daughter's life was on the line. Maho stood next to him and typed in her ID and password to begin accessing Amadeus.
俺はラジカンへ行く。ここは任せたぞ。
This is so intense.
オカリン、鈴葉を頼む。ああ、任せろ。
Daru didn't even look up from his computer. Hoyen Kyoma's back. I love it.
鈴葉、マユリ。
When I made it to the top of the radio tower, or the radio building, Mayuri quickly ducked behind the time machine.
おかわり。
Mayuri was trying not to look at me. Her eyes were a little red because she'd been crying so much. She'd heard me talking about Kirisu's sacrifice in the Alpha worldline. My heart ached again, realizing how much I'd hurt her.
マユリ、タイムマシンで過去へ戻るつもりか。
Well, they need to do it quick. He's like, go now before everybody shows up.
どうして？
俺は
But the fact that he time
48
leapt
時間後からタイムリープし
means
てきた。
that Suzaha's gonna be like,
全
oh,
部知ってる。
Suzaha's gonna be like, you did it. So he's like, he's okay with time leaping now.
それ、本当？
I nodded.
ここはあと30分もしないうちに戦場になる。
まさかタイムマシンのことがどこかから漏れるの？
あ、
まずい。だったら今すぐに飛ぶしかない。
Is he gonna go with instead of Mayuri? Suzaha leapt into the time machine, but maybe,
ちょっとだけ待ってくれ。
maybe does
ヒ
Maru,
アジョさんが
or sorry,
今先手を打っているところだ。
like does Mayuri have to be the one to go in order to get to Steins Gate, or is Okabe gonna take her place? Maybe all three of them can go together.
優秀な二人だ。必ずうまくいくだろう。でも、もし仮に思い通りにいかなかったら。
行かなかったら。
お前たちは死ぬかも。
かもしれないってどういう意味？オカリンおじさんがタイムリープする前の世界で私たちはどうなったの？というかおじさんがタイムリープしてきたってことは何か致命的な失敗があった。そうなんだね。
I didn't know if I should tell them. No, there was no time to hesitate.
鈴葉とマユリが乗っていたタイムマシンは時間跳躍直前にロケットランチャーの直撃を受けた。でも乗っていたお前たち二人の死体はマシンの残骸の中からは見つからなかったんだ。
なるほど。だからかもしれないか。それなら未来は確定してない。まだ成功の可能性は残されてる。
鈴葉ならそう言うと思った。
So what happens if they go now before, like, there's a chance of it blowing up?
止めないでよ、おじさん。
Her eyes were filled with resolve. They seemed to say if I tried to stop her, she would do whatever it took to ensure I failed. Of course, I had no intention of stopping her. She'd come here to do her job, and there was no way to change her mind. Actually, I'd come here to ensure that she could jump without having to worry about Stratford's interference. But Myri, the uncertainty that had been going in and out of my mind ever since I'd read her message, reared its head again.
なあ、マユリ、本当に言ってしまうのか。お前に隠し事をしていたのは謝る。でも俺もクリスもみんながお前のことを大好きなんだ。
Aww.
そんなお前を助けたくてこの世界線にたどり着いたんだ。なのにお前が言ってしまったら俺たちは。
おかり。
いや、お前の気持ちは痛いほど分かってる。
ねえ、おかりんおじさん。
And then Suzuha spoke
オ
softly.
ペレーションアークライトが発動したんだよ。
オペレーションアークライト。
私が聞かされていた当初の計画とは違う。戻るのは去年の7月28日じゃなくて、
Okay, she's gonna go
8月
into...
21日になった。
Okay, August 24th. So they're going ahead of time. They're going ahead.
8月21日。
That was the day Suzuha'd come in the time machine. And the day I'd given up on everything. Oh, okay, so the previous year. Wait. So August, right? Because it was July where... I'm so confused. You think I would know this by now. So she came in the time machine. And then there was... Okay. Anyway. I'll let her explain.
そのオペレーションには、まゆ姉さんも必要なんだ。
Right? Because Myri needs to say something, or Suzuha needs to have Myri there for some reason.
未来の父さんから、私はそう指示を受けた。ついさっき。
なんだって。
In the future, Daru would come up with an operation I knew nothing about, and he needed Myri for it. Her unexpected words sent my mind reeling. Well, right? It's the whole thing about the future can be tricked or something like that. Even Okabe didn't know about it. So yes, I remember the whole thing with the timeline with Suzuha and Kirisu's death, and that was like after that happened, and he didn't want to time leap because he was so upset.
おかり。
And then Myri came close enough for me to hold her and grabbed my hand tight. She looked a little like she was about to cry, but her eyes were clear and bright.
マユリ。
行かせて。ね。マユシーもラボメンなんだよ。落ち込んじゃってる彦星さんをマユシーがひっぱたいてきてあげるから。
What if that's what it was? She's going to August 28th to slap him in the face. You know what? That's worked. He's been punched in the face. He got hit by Suzuha. He got hit by Daru, and that seems to shake him up a little bit. So if Myri slaps him, maybe that's all it is. That is going to get him to Steins Gate. I know she won't literally slap him in the face, but that would be funny if that's what it was.
お願い。
I remembered what was in that message. I remembered how she must feel right now. The last remnants of my hesitation slowly melted away.
俺一人で何もかも背負ってると勘違いしていたんだな。周りのことが見えてなかったんだな。マユリだけじゃない。俺の近くにはたくさんのラボメンたちがいるのにな。
おかり。
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Well, so much for that, nice reunion. I suddenly felt a horrible pain in my leg as the shock knocked me several meters forward and onto the ground. I looked down at my leg and saw there was a red stain around the calf. It felt like it was on fire. The pain flared up each time my heart beat, and I couldn't stand. Was I just shot?
お前カガリ
A girl in a motorcycle suit was standing there. Yeah, and she's not going to be swayed this time because hasn't been, like, bloodied. So she's on her mission. Kagari had a handgun in her right hand, and in her left she was holding what looked like a bomb. There was no sign of the professor or the other men in camo. That much was fortunate, but Kagari had shown up a little earlier than I expected. I hadn't quite planned for this, but evidently I'd run out of time.
スザー、マシンに乗るんだ。今すぐ飛べ。くだらないことを言って悪かった。お前を守るためなら誰はどんなことでもやってのける。失敗なんてするわけないよな。
オカリンおじさん。
だからマシンは無事に飛べるだろう。
もちろん。
In fact, there was no sign of anyone but Kagari showing up, but she's got a bomb. She could probably destroy the time machine with that. That meant that Daru and Maho's efforts had been successful, and they'd kept the secrets of the time machine out of Stratfor's hands.
前よりも行け。早く。
でもオカリンは。
She was looking at my injured leg and panicking.
俺のことなら心配ない。14年後までは絶対に死なないからな。
And even that's not necessarily true. Kagari fired again. The bullet struck less than 30 centimeters away from where I was lying on the ground.
誰も動いちゃダメ。じゃないとその人を殺しちゃうよ。マシンに乗らないで。それは教授に渡すの。
Man, now that I know that that's like Yuki, how did I not realize when she was talking? But like last episode when she was talking, she didn't sound quite like that. She sounded very childlike.
その後使い方を教えてもらってカガリが未来へ帰るのに使うんだから。
構うな。ここは俺が何とかする。早くしろ。スザムだ。係のことは俺に任せてくれていい。
分かった。マヨ姉さん、中へ。
Suzuha pushed Mayuri inside the time machine and out of my sight.
オカリンおじさん、カガリのこと頼んだよ。
了解だ。
Suzuha followed Mayuri inside, and at the same time the hatch started to close.
ダメだって言ってるのに、降りてよ。
Kagari ran up to it. I forced myself to stand up, ignoring the piercing pain, and blocked her way.
邪魔はさせない。
うるさい。どけ。
断る。
どけよ。
Kagari kicked my injured leg hard. The pain made me so dizzy I could hardly stand. Kagari slipped past me and tried to grab onto the time machine. She was going to use the bomb in her hand. If she did, things would turn out the same as last time. My time leap would be wasted.
降りろ。じゃないとこの爆弾でマシンを壊す。
やめろ。
I grabbed her from behind and wrapped my arms under hers. I pulled her away from the machine, ignoring the pain in my leg.
分かってるのか。そんなことをすればお前の大事なママが死ぬんだぞ。
でも私は
おとなしくしてくれ。頼むから。
Mayuri tossed a hard drive to me from the almost completely closed hatch. What fell on the floor was the thing Kirisu had left behind for Maho.
これは
Right? Wait, what? Yeah. Huh?
どうしてここに。
I thought that was destroyed by the guy shooting at it. I thought Russia had destroyed
父
it.
さんを怒らないでやって。これからのタイムマシン研究に必要なものだと思うから。
Was that a fake that he gave me? I could just barely hear Suzuha's voice from within the machine. So that was it. Daru had hid it in the time machine. Ah, smart.
それじゃあオカリン、行ってくるね。
I could see Myri looking at me from the small gap in the door. That's right, this was a temporary goodbye. I'd see her again someday. Right, Myri? So I'd send off my brave lab member 2 with my head held high.
頼んだぞラボメンナンバー00に椎名真由里オペレーションアークライトを完遂しろ情けないこの俺をひっぱたいてきてくれ
Please literally slap him in the face when you get there. That would be so funny.
私ね、オカリンのこと大好き。
あ
Aw. It's sad he can't say it back, but he knew. I smiled as the hatch sealed completely shut. The time machine started to roar. I felt like I heard a helicopter in the distance. I believed in him, but for now, I had no proof that Daru had been able to crack the complicated Amadeus system and delete every bit of data. It was possible that Special Forces teams from all around the world were converging on Akihabara right now. Imagining that made me want to hurry. Quickly. Go, quickly! I felt like praying as I watched the pale light surrounding the time machine.
行かないで。ママ、鈴葉お姉ちゃん。
Kagari's cry went unanswered. Yay, they did it! A bright light covered the time machine, and it vanished from this world.
成功だ
Kagari sobbed and glared at me with eyes full of hate.
どうしてママを行かせた。
She shook away my hands and pointed the gun at my head. I stared at her dead in the face.
君の素晴らしいママは鈴葉と一緒に世界をダメにしたバカな男を叱りに行ったんだこの世界のためにとっても大事なことをしてきてくれるんだ
嘘だ。ママも鈴葉お姉ちゃんもかがりを置き去りにしていったんだ。
嘘じゃない俺も君がもっと幸せな場所で真由里と出会えるように
No, didn't they say that
これから頑張ってみる
at the end of Kagari's? They said like they'd still be able to see each other, and I bet that's gonna happen like the true ending. Like somehow they're gonna cross paths.
だからもうやめにしような
そんな話信じられない。
いや君なら信じてくれるはずだだって俺は君が本当は誰でどんなに優しい人かよく知ってるから
The gun barrel started to shake a little.
私を知ってる。
知ってる俺は48時間後からタイムリープしてきたからな
I mean, sure, but we also saw her kill a bunch of people mercilessly. Kagari put her hands to her head as her body spasmed with pain.
神様の声が騙されるなって言ってる。
Man, I'm so bummed out. I was so sure. I was like, the voice that she heard. I thought it was Okabe, but then again, because the whole thing about like you have to protect your mom.
お前は嘘つきな敵だって殺してしまえば
But yeah, that's not
ママのところ
something
へ
that
帰
he
れるように
would
なる
say.
って。
But yeah, I guess that would make sense that Dr. Leskinen would say that, be like, oh, you have to stop, gotta stop the time leap from happening, gotta stop the time machine because then you can save your mommy. So yeah, he manipulated her.
世界を破壊しようとする悪い奴は殺せって。それで私は元の世界へ戻れる。
Kagari wasn't making any sense. Was this brainwashing? Had the professor done something so cruel? I grabbed the flailing hand that held the gun and looked deep into her eyes. She was crying and scared.
聞くんだ。ママはきっともう戻ってこない。でも、これから俺たちが頑張れば、もしかしたら、ママも君も、幸せな形で一緒に暮らせる世界が、訪れるかもしれない。君のママは、そのために、時間を飛び越えていったんだ。そのママの気持ちを、台無しにしちゃダメだ。君は、今からでもやり直せる。
神様の声に逆らってもいいの？
ああ。
The voice of God she was hearing was probably the professor's brainwashing. How far it had its claws sunk into her mind, I had no way to tell. But now we had Maho, a specialist in brain science. If we work hard at treatment, I'm sure she'll be okay.
ねえ、岡部さん。
Her voice was normal again.
ママに会いたいよ。会えるかな？
会えるさ。いつか。
よかった。
What? Oh. What? Oh, shit. Oh, no. Wait, did Dr. Leskinen end up showing up anyway? There was another sudden gunshot. Kagari's body collapsed right in front of me. I guess she's destined to die? No matter what? Oh, wait, what? Huh? What? Okay. Forgot about Moeka. Forgot about her. Oh, shit. Well, I looked over at where it came from and saw another girl in a black motorcycle suit. She wasn't wearing a helmet, so I could tell it was Moeka Kiryu pointing a gun at us. Her face was deathly pale and she was crying.
なんで
We can't escape her, can we?
なんでだよ桐生萌えか
FB ねえ FB 私あんな女になんか騙されなかった。こんなの偽物の携帯だって分かったよ。だからお願い私を見捨てないで FB
The cell phone fell from her hands. God damn. I did not see that coming. Another shot from her gun blew it into fragments. I held Kagari in my arms. Her chest was turning red.
おいしっかりしろ
あ、よかった。神様の言う通りにしても間違うことあったんだ。自業自得です。彼女の心を踏みにじって利用しようとしたからごめんなさい。こんな子になるつもりじゃなかったの。ねえママ、どこなの？
Her voice grew thinner. Moeka Kiryu collapsed some distance away. Her eyes were unfocused and all she did was mumble. She didn't seem capable of coherent thought. Both of them would be in danger if I didn't get them to a hospital. But... Yeah, you guys are too late. Dozens of men in camo jumped over the fence on the roof out of nowhere. Even Darwin Maho couldn't succeed in this short a time span. Or was this world line going to converge so that the war started here no matter what? No, but...
無駄なんかじゃなかったさ。
If nothing else, they'd bought me time, and that had delayed the attack long enough for Suzuha and Mayuri to leave. That's right, in this instant, we'd already won. The way forward was still uncertain, but there was no doubt the path to Steins Gate lay before me.
目標1ロスト。目標2、目標3もロスト。どうなってる？
The leader was talking on his radio. I could see attack helicopters in the sky. I heard the siren again.
ゲリラ攻撃情報。ゲリラ攻撃情報。当地域にゲリラ攻撃の可能性があります。屋内に避難し、テレビ、ラジオをつけてください。
A war was starting. Just as I had thought, even the time leap couldn't change that.
ウィンターロじゃないか。
Leskinen appeared from behind the men in camo. That's right, he was a secret member of Stratfor, just like them.
なぜここに？カガリは死んだのかい？聞かせてくれ、リンタロ。タイムマシンはどこに？
I lay Kagari down on the ground and slowly rose back up. Blood wouldn't stop coming out of the wound on my leg. The pain was getting worse, but even still I stood up proud and strong. In front of the men with their guns, in front of the attack helicopter with its rocket launchers, he'd be like, "You failed!" and then do like a Hoyan laugh. Come on, do it. In front of the professor, in front of the war that was about to begin. I laughed as loud as I could. Yes, yes, in that voice. Wah-ha-ha-ha. Or wah-ha-ha-ha.
よく聞け、間抜けどもめ。貴様らが手に入れようとしたタイムマシンはもうここにはない。この時代にはもう存在しないのだ。残念だったな。せいぜい悔しがるがいい。そして恐れるがいい。この法王院教魔は貴様らにも運命にも負けることはない。俺は必ずシュタインズゲートを見つけてみせる。
And everyone's just like, ... That's right. This was the beginning of the long, long epigraph necessary to reach Steins Gate. Madness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Einstein had once said that, when he despaired of human folly. But now I would gladly give myself over to that madness and folly. I would use every bit of dedication and obsession within me to seek the lone different outcome, which the laws of God could not reach.
それがこの俺の選択だ。
Oh, all right. So that's it for this one. So let's skip ahead. Milky Way Crossing. Okay, this is it. I think this is the actual finale here.
因果は成立した。計
Alright,
画の
here
最
we
終
go.
段階について話そう。
Yes.
ダイバージェンスを変え、未知の世界線、シュタインズゲートへ到達する計画だ。ちなみに、シュタインズゲートと命名したのは俺だ。なぜシュタインズゲートなのかは、お前ならわかるはず。特に意味はない。そうだろ。
I couldn't remember. I'm like, why did he call it Steins Gate? Oh yeah, just because it sounded neat. 2025 AD, the Future Gadget Laboratory, aka the Lab. It was also the headquarters of the resistance organization Valkyrie. Once located in a room in a multi-purpose building in Akihabara, it had been moved to a new base after the Third World War. The place was far too filthy to really be called a lab, but it was without a doubt the home of the best minds in the world as they searched for a way to reach Steins Gate. In the center of the room, Rintaro Okabe was delivering a monologue, posing like a stage actor, as his white coat flapped.
お前が立っているその場所は、俺たちがクリスを助けたいと願ったからこそ到達できた瞬間なんだ。俺の計画の下準備は完了した。あとはお前次第だ。最終ミッション、オペレーションスクルドの概要を説明する。
Alright, Operation Skuld. The final mission to reach Steins Gate given by Rintaro Okabe in the year 2025 to himself in the year 2010. The parameters for the mission's success were as follows. change the results of established events without changing the events themselves. Deceive the original Rintaro Okabe, deceive the world. Skuld is the youngest of the three Norn sisters, the goddesses of fate in Norse mythology. She sits at the Erd Spring at the base of Yggdrasil, the world tree, definitely said that wrong, where she tends to the tree's growth. Skuld is the goddess that controls the future and is also one of the Valkyries.
確定した過去を変えずに結果を変えろ。
That was that whole thing about deceive the world, deceive Rintaro Okabe. Kirisu, aka Maho Hyajo, was standing at him annoyed from a distance away. Kirisu was Maho's codename in Valkyrie. Maho turned toward Itaru Hashida, who was sitting right next to her.
ねえ、あれはあれでいいの？
多分ね。
Itaru was grinning. He was history's greatest super hacker and he loved Kiyoma Hoyen too much.
みんなと一緒にあれを見ることになる2010年の凛太郎は恥ずかしくないのかしら？
大丈夫。その頃はもっとすごかったから。
ああ、そう。
Maho sighed and shook her head, but even as she sighed and sighed, she was so sad that she felt her heart was going to burst. She probably wasn't the only one feeling that way. Itaru, Luka Urishibara, and even Rumiho Akiha, who was doing the filming, all seemed a little sad when they thought about what was to come.
最初のお前を騙せ。世界を騙せ。それがシュタインズゲートに到達するための選択だ。
And then Okabe walked toward the camera that Rumiho was holding. He'd insisted on standing away from the camera with his back turned to give it more atmosphere. So why was he walking towards it now? Maho sighed again. Okabe took the camera from Ferris and brought the lens up to his face. And then he said the final line.
健闘を祈るぞ。狂気のマッドサイエンティストよ。エル、プサイ、コングルー。
And then he stopped the recording, and the video message to the past was complete. It had taken 15 years to get to this point. It was such a long time, and at the same time it had felt so short.
はい、これでバッチリだにゃ。
よし。あとは D メールと一緒に過去へ送信。ルカ子、送り先とタイミングを間違えるなよ。
はい。今のは2010年の京馬さんの携帯アドレスへ。さっき撮ったイタルさんのムービーメールは2011年の鈴葉ちゃんへですね。
ああ、よろしく頼む。
Okabe came over to Maho and the others, his white lab coat flapping as he walked.
お疲れ様。
これでシュタインズゲートへの道筋はついた。今の俺にできるのはここまでだ。あとは2010年の俺次第といったところだな。おう。なんだ、ずいぶん暗いじゃないか。
だってやっぱりみんな不安だもの。タイムマシンの試作機でいきなり有人実験なんて。
Maho looked up at the huge time machine, unit number FGC193 behind them. It was almost the same shape as the C204 model that had appeared in Akihabara in 2010, but it was still a prototype with many unstable parts.
大丈夫だ。俺は有能な右腕たちを信用してるからな。絶対に成功する。
あなたが死ぬのは2025年。この世界線ではそれが確定している。だからって自分から死にに行くような真似は感心しないわ。
Okay, so when he dies in 2025, except like in the other timeline, he wasn't dead, but in this one, I guess, if he's going back in time, or if this version of him dies in 2025 because he will cease to exist if he goes back in 2010, is that what they're implying? Like, you know, committing suicide means like he won't be in this world anymore. They'd had this debate 1,000 times before. Maho herself had thought she'd come to terms with it, but at the last minute she found herself bringing it up again.
確かに俺はかつて 鈴葉からそう言われた。2025年に死ぬと。あいつの話じゃ、真由里をかばって暴漢に刺されるんだったかな。今この場に真由里はいないが、世界線は収束する。だから俺は、今年で死ぬものだとずっと思い込んできた。
Okay, so maybe in this one, like, they all believe he dies in 2025, but he doesn't. Because if Mayuri's not around for him to stop the thug, then how does he die? Okabe flipped his white lab coat up a little too dramatically and put his hand to his chest.
それは、必ずしも死の必然とは限らないんじゃないか。この俺が、2025年にこの世界線から消えるという選択もまた、
Okay.
死と同じ意味に解釈できると思ったんだ。
どういうこと？
This theory was new to Maho.
つまり、2025年に俺がこの世を去るというのは、別に死ぬわけじゃなくて、記念すべきタイムマシン初号機に乗り、別の時空間へと無事に旅立ったことを意味していたのだ。
ものすごいポジティブシンキングだわ。
でも、仮説としてはありだろ。
The world can be tricked, connect the possibilities, deceive the world. See, I assumed the whole deceiving the world thing with Okabe actually not being dead was that, you know, there was that timeline where he was actually basically a vegetable that was brought back. And Itaru had kept that secret from everybody. But yeah, so when this one turns out 2025, when he quote-unquote dies, it's because they were successful in getting the time machine to work.
別の世界線から届いたそのメッセージが、俺に勇気を与えてくれた。これから俺がやろうとしているのは、オペレーションスクルドの実証実験みたいなものでもあるんだ。
そう。確かにそうね。
But to Maho and the others, it was all the same. After 2025, Rintaro Okabe would be gone. He'd never come back. He wasn't saying it, but he knew it too. He stared at each of his friends for a moment in turn, as if to help him memorize their faces. Most of the founding members of Valkyrie and the former members of the Future Gadget Lab were here to see him go. Itaru Hashida, Rumiho Akiha, aka Ferris Nyanyan, Luka Urishibara, Maho Hyajo, and standing quietly in the back, Yuki Hashida. A 7-year-old Suzuha Hashida was hiding behind her legs.
みんな、今日まで俺みたいな男によくついてきてくれた。だが、神の摂理を相手にした戦いはまだ続く。次は2036年だな。それまでよろしく頼む。ワルキューレの健闘を祈る。
As she listened to Okabe's final goodbye, Maho tried her best to stop herself from crying. She couldn't cry here. She'd decided long ago she'd kept hope in her heart as she watched him go.
よし。そろそろ逃げた人質を捕まえに行くか。
鈴葉のこともよろしくな。
任せろ。こいつに乗せてあるカーブラックホールのトレーサーがあればきっとうまくいくさ。
That was a special device that only the C-193 was equipped with. It was capable of tracing the space-time distortion continually created by a Kerr black hole, anywhere from 70 million years in the past to the future. You could call it a time machine tracker. It had been specially designed to allow them to find another time machine. Of course, they had only one reason for making it: to find Mayuri Shina and Suzuha Amane, who'd gone beyond the space-time horizon on Tanabata in 2011. Had guessed that when the battery on the C-204 failed, it had lost the ability to properly time travel. So, after finding them with the C-193, Okabe would give them a spare battery and send them back to this time. If possible, he'd go too. If they could do that, this mission would be 100% complete. But doing that with this prototype time machine would be extremely difficult. Okabe had to have known that. Perhaps he was thinking of sacrificing himself to send Mayuri and Suzuha back to this time.
じゃあ行くよ。
おう。
待ってください。
The last member of the Future Gadget Lab, Kagari Shina, came running onto the floor.
カガリ、姿が見えないと思ったらどこへ行ってたの？
Now, how does she look in this one? This has got to look like the Kagari we knew, right? With the red hair, not the one that was the plastic surgery to look like Yuki, because Yuki doesn't exist in this timeline, or at least not the one that we know, because she's dead.
ごめんなさい。これを取ってきたんです。オカリンさん、持っていてください。お守り。
Okay, there we go. She looks like the Kagari I know. Kagari handed him a faded green Upa keychain. Oh, it's crazy in this one too, because like Mayuri's not here.
大切な宝物だろ。
So Mayuri's not in this timeline, and yet Kagari's still here.
はい。だからこそです。絶対に返してください。ママと一緒に。
わかった。必ず返すよ。必ずな。
I'm wondering if the little star necklace she has is like in reference to Mayuri talking about the stars beyond the cloudy skies, and the whole thing about like her and Suzuha leaving on Tanabata. It's like they're like the stars in the sky as well, like a shooting star going off in the time machine. Okabe took the keychain and gave everyone one final firm handshake. Finally, he came to Maho.
元気で。
君もな、クリス。いや、真帆。
ねえ。
ん？
シュタインズゲートは実在すると思う？まゆりさんが死ぬことなく、そしてクリスも犠牲にならない。そんな狭間の世界線が本当にあると思う？
It was the first time she'd asked that in 14 years since the battle began on that year's Tanabata.
あるさ。絶対に。
Whoa, whoa, what's going on here? Do they... Okay. Is there something going on between the two of them? Rintaro Okabe, Kiyoma Hyoyin, answered her with a smile. But his smile seemed so sad that Maho couldn't help but cry.
泣くなよ。
泣いてないわよ。
I wonder if the two of them, did they end up, especially calling her Kirisu? Like, she's not a replacement for Kirisu, but... That's cute, though. Maho gave him a hug and swore to herself she'd never forget his warmth and conviction.
いってらっしゃい。
Okabe nodded a little.
よし、全員下がれ。これよりオペレーションを開始する。なお、作戦名はオペレーションアルタイルとする。
He shouted as if trying to raise his own spirits, not just everyone else's, and then he entered the cockpit of the FG C193 time machine. Maho and the others quickly began the countdown sequence to start the time machine. Since this was a trial run too, they needed to record all the data they could get. A low roar enveloped the whole machine. The vibration and noise were so loud that the building shook a little. But as far as Maho could tell, the data was normal. The thick hatch of the time machine was slowly closing. Then there was the sharp sound of it sealing tight, cutting Okabe off from the rest of them forever.
うまくいくわよね。大丈夫。京馬は必ずやり遂げるにゃ。
その通りです。不可能を可能にする人ですから。
ああ、それでこそ僕たちのオカリンなわけでね。
オカリンさん。
A rainbow-colored fog started to rise up around the machine. The sound of the engine grew so loud that it threatened to blow out their eardrums, and no one could hear a thing.
Okarin!
Rintaro screamed, unable to hold back any longer.
お前の死が確定してるとか、んなことどうでもいい。やっぱここへ戻ってこい。
みんなずっと待ってるから。私も待ってるから。絶対に帰ってきなさい。
As they screamed, the machine started to fade away. And then, just as he'd promised on that distant day, he followed the two Orihimes. With a blinding flash of light, the time machine took off from the year 2025, heading for a time far away, and disappeared.
宇宙に始まりはあるが終わりはない。無限。星にもまた始まりはあるが自らの力を持って滅びゆく。有限。英知を持つ者こそ最も愚かであるのは歴史からも読み取れる。海に生ける魚は陸の世界を知らない。彼らが英知を持てばそれもまた滅びゆく。人間が光の速さを超えるのは魚たちが陸で生活を始めるよりも滑稽。これはそんな神からの最後通告に抗った者たちによる執念のエピグラフ。
Wait, is that it? Oh, come on. It was showing Kirisu and stuff, so we're gonna... Come on, let us see something at the end here. Come on. Wait, what? That's it? There's gotta be something after that. Come on. Oh, here we go. Milky Way crossing complete. Oh, VEGA and ALTAIR. Saw all CGs. Oh no! New item. New wallpaper. Wait, that's it? Hold on. No! Wait. That can't be it. That's everything though, right? I finished everything. 100% achievements. I didn't get all the tips, unfortunately. Shit, okay. I was hoping there was gonna be something right at the end, maybe, that, like, was gonna show him arrive. But it says I got everything, so... I mean, I guess what this is, then, is this is, like, you know... Because we do reach Steins Gate in the original, like, the original game. So this is just everything leading up to the first game when he does go back and he does complete his mission. He does get to Steins Gate. He does, because we do know, like, if you play through all of Steins Gate, he does save Kirisu. We know this, but I was hoping I'd at least get to see a recap of that, you know, of that moment. It feels a little bit empty, I'm not gonna lie, because it's been so long since I played the original Steins Gate. I vaguely remember how it ended because I played the whole thing. I did get to Steins Gate, but it would have been nice to kind of have that again. So I don't know, it feels like I did it, but I didn't get that kind of like successful feeling. I know he's on his way to doing it, but it would have been nice to get something right at the end showing that he succeeded. I know he did. But either way, like, okay, a little bit of a disappointing ending with, like, not getting to see the conclusion, the true conclusion of it. I guess I'll just have to go back and rewatch the end of my playthrough of the original Steins Gate to see what happened, to remember everything. But all the same, I still really enjoyed playing through Steins Gate again. Steins Gate 0, introducing Maho. She was an awesome character. I really loved her. And Kagari, and a lot of shocking moments, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of moments that made me be like, what? Like, so confused. But it was, yeah, like, great to get back into the world of Steins Gate again. I forgot how much I liked these characters. Just dealing with, like, a whole different aspect of, like, you know, AI and virtual... Not virtual reality, but, you know, like, the Amadeus project, and like Maho actually being part of getting him to Steins Gate, and we had no idea about this character until this game. So it does feel like it's truly complete now to see like the aftermath of the the bad ending, quote unquote, from like the original Steins Gate when he accidentally killed Kirisu, and all the lengths he took, and also dealing with like the PTSD and the trauma of everything. Like the first Steins Gate really tapped into that a lot. Like I remember it hitting me really hard, the one part in the original Steins Gate when he kept repeating the same day again and again, and he just had like, he was having these really dark thoughts about how like he looked at Suzuha and was like, I could basically like R-word her, like I could do horrible things to her, I could assault her, and nobody would remember, only I would remember this. And that was like, whoa, you know, like that was a like what the fuck moment, about just showing like how time travel and repeating these things can truly drive someone mad. And this was more just dealing with like the depression afterwards of what you've done and not being like feeling like you can fix it. So like it definitely went to some like sad moments in this one as well. So yeah, like really enjoyed that. It was good. And I know that there is like more Steins Gate. There's once more of like a dating sim. I don't know if I will play that one. I don't know. It just feels a little bit too goofy for this kind of story. But yeah, I guess the question is now, like, what game am I going to be playing next? You guys are going to want to know that. And surprise, surprise, it is another visual novel. As to what game I'm going to be playing next, it's going to be Chaos Head Noah, and I am going to be playing the more mature version of it. Apparently there's a patch that is, you know, makes it the more complete version, that makes sure that the like more mature content is included. Thank you to my moderator, iCognito, for sending me the link to that, so I'll make sure that I play the better version of that game. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. Thank you so much if you've tuned in to the end of Steins Gate Zero. Thank you so much for watching through to the end. I really enjoyed my time with this, and I hope that you did too. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned next week, same time, for my new playthrough, Chaos Head Noah. I will catch you then. Until then, bye guys. Shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Salieri, Revealing Storm, Amlife, iCognito, Saturn Sins, Doublest91, Harry Gazip, Kenju Storm, and Lynn's VA.